Voila, golden brown. I'll let you steep with that and dump these grounds. Yep. Reusable grounds filter. So that way the next 3 cups is a bit quicker. I'm thinking I can get 6 in before the Vraylar at 3. I'm not really sure. Sometimes it's just a pain to eat and drink. So the CBD hemp really helps that. It helps with the munchies and it helps with the pain itself that comes from like pre-cancer symptoms in the membrane, under the scalp and skull and things. I think that's what the medication's for because I was reading into it. Yeah, you drinking that? Considering I'm not diagnosed with a mental illness such as autism or bipolar, schizophrenia, or anything like that, they've got me on the sort of drug that would treat that kind of thing, risperidone, for thousands of days, and if consecutively, one every 24 hours, back to back, for thousands of days straight. And if it was for mental illness or whatever, of course, there's one law that if you're diagnosed and a violent offender, I don't have a criminal record, and I was never diagnosed. That can't be it. But in exception to that, which isn't really a laughing matter, they would have you on it to treat symptoms for 6 to 12 weeks at a time, and then give you a 6 to 12 week break from the medication because it's that intense and extreme and new. The body hasn't really adapted to it. But I guess if you take the medication back to back for thousands of days straight, and it seems like a lifetime, and it is a lifetime considering the third world countries' lifespans. Kids have sex at 8 and die when they're 30 or whatever. The continent of Africa, other places that aren't quite civilized. I can't come to the tip of the tongue right now. Um, I guess the precancer symptoms will back out and reverse themselves back into a normal membrane is the hopes, but it takes 10, 15, maybe 20 years, and you'll be living with precancer symptoms the entire time as they dwindle from the hardcore pharmaceutical prescription. Um, and then at any given moment, it'll just pipe up and turn into real cancer, and then a tumor, and then death, or operations rather. So, you drinking that? This is the kind of thing I'd shoot the shit with Squirrely with until I was too intoxicated to remember why exactly I was on the medication entirely, from the first place, from the get go or whatever. I remember getting an MRI in 2004 and they said he had 2 black spots in his brain the size of pinheads and one the size of a dime or a nickel, and so we tried alternative therapies until 2008 when I became of age for hardcore pharmaceutical prescription in the numbers that was needed. So we tried alternative stuff forever, it seemed 4 years, and then I thought it was just a joke, until they put me on risperidone and said it's a 3,600 day estimate. Until the precancer symptoms won't have the probability of turning cancerous over a night's sleep, or over a day's work or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and drink the coffee outside. We'll do this at a 3:35 or a 4-minute upload. It'll take about 20 minutes to get to the nets, and it's not going to be my last words. It says, I want to tap that off. There's a little too much cream in there. Not that I like it black, like the mindless self-indulgence. The rubber duckies had it, and the X's with the eyes, I think, was one of the t-shirts. That and Mudvayne I listened to. Those were kind of the hardest. Mudvayne was more of a rock opera, while MSI was kind of like closer to the ICP of the days beforehand. I think ICP came out first. My Axe is my buddy, Cherry Pie, and then Two Hookers and an 8 Ball with MSI was a later gig. And I've only really liked Beautiful People from Manson. I could never really get into him. But Korn, I will listen to every song on every album, and I really only love Follow the Leader. I got Serenity of Suffering a couple years ago. It was decent. I think Serenity of the Suffering is Korn album number 2, but it came out like 10 years later or more, maybe 15 by now. Oh, well, I'm not 8 years old, but I still like the same few, genre styles. And Grateful Dead, I think I'll leave with bop, 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 bop. Something my age range then. I can get into late 80s until the passing of Jerry up until modern day. Everything before that, I'd have to look up to the elders, I gotta go for now, huh?